America faces one of those rare moments where we could be launching a society-wide effort to bring government, business, academic institutions, and families together to win the AI race. So far, we're blowing it. I'm Jim VandeHei, CEO of Axios, and I'm going to walk you through a Wall Street Journal piece I recently wrote on 7 society-wide steps we could be taking to win the AI race. I'm not delusional. This is hard and probably impossible. But the idea of putting these 7 ideas out there is that the status quo sucks. If we keep doing what we're doing, you're going to end up with China winning the AI war, or the rich getting richer and the powerful getting more powerful in the US. The only solution is a society-level effort. And I'll tell you this from running a company, from traveling the country, from talking to people who run academic institutions, politicians, I think the will is there. And I think the vast majority of the people in this country always want to do the right thing for the right reason. But if we don't give them a mechanism to do it, you're going to have more of the same, and shame on us if that's what we do. The first step is we should be framing this as a national project. This is a rare technology that, like electricity, will affect every single person, every single business, every single classroom. If you make it a national project, think about it like a moonshot. Think about it like going to the moon. Think about it like the interstate highway system. We tend to look at these things as just political problems or business things. That's why I keep stressing this is a society-wide issue. If we don't get all the different levers pulled, government alone's not going to solve this one for us. Step 2 is we have to build a coordinating infrastructure. Right now, everything is being done in silos. The technology companies are building, business is implementing, government is thinking about regulating. I think you need a national framework. You need some kind of mechanism where you bring together people who have expertise in government, but also expertise in these technologies, expertise in the ethics of these technologies, in implications on the workforce, experts on the implications for education. This group would have 3 main goals. Number 1 is map out the opportunities and the problems before they hit, then draft possible solutions for when those scenarios unfold, and then 3, just level with the American people along the way, the good, the bad, the ugly. One of the distinguishing characteristics of AI is that we kind of know what's coming before it comes. We knew it was going to be able to code as well as human coders, right? We didn't know when, we didn't know how good. Turns out it happened quicker and better, but we could have prepared for that. And then we knew that once it could code, it was going to be able to figure out vulnerability in computer systems. So it was going to be able to carry out more sophisticated cyber attacks. And so in both cases, you had a lot of angst, a lot of confusion, and a lot of like ad hoc kind of improvisational responses to it. Thank you for watching Behind the Curtain. We're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, Accenture, which does a lot of consulting in the AI space.
I'm very excited about our reinvention story today, which is literally 160 years in the making.
The reinvention was trying to bring a company into the trends of the future.
Step 3 is let's anticipate job displacement before it actually happens. There's a big debate of, is AI going to create an unfathomable bounty of new jobs, or is it going to destroy half of all white-collar work? There's 2 camps. You hear the debate all the time. The truth is, in real time, we have no idea. There's very little data that AI is destroying tons of jobs in real time. There are some signs that it could be very problematic over time. Well, even if you have some jobs destroyed and more jobs created, if you're the person whose job's destroyed, that sucks. That ruins your life. And so why don't we anticipate that? Why don't we figure out, listen, if someone's going to lose a job, or if we hit unemployment, let's say 5 or 6%, let's do this. Like it could be job training programs. It could be extended unemployment insurance. There's a bunch of things that you can do policy-wise to help people who've been hurt. But I think the people who could pay for it, if the technology is better than even the technologists think it will be, that means that they're richer than they thought they'd be, they're going to be the ones who have to fund it. And by the way, way, they've talked about wanting to fund it.
I don't just want like a check every month. What I would want is like a ownership share in whatever the AI creates, so that I feel like I'm participating in this thing that's going to compound and get more valuable over time. So
worry less about disincentivizing growth and worry more about making sure that everyone gets a part of that growth.
So let's call their bluff. Let's make sure that if that happens, they're funding it. Government can set up a mechanism to be able to distribute it. It doesn't have to be heavy regulation. It doesn't even have to be that heavy a work. This isn't rocket science. Like, we know what happens when jobs get displaced. We know what it takes to create job training programs. We know what it costs to provide extended unemployment benefits. And so there are very logical steps that could be taken if we approach this in a logical way. And I understand the eye rolling of, oh my God, no way would at this moment in history could we ever act society-wide or logically. I just disagree. Like, I see it every day. I believe it can happen. Step 4 is a no-brainer that I can't believe we haven't done over the last 2 years, which is create essentially an Uber of work app. Like, imagine an app that tells you in real time all the new jobs that are being created around data centers, around energy production, around chip manufacturing. AI is going to create jobs that we never thought would exist. And well, how the hell would you find it if there's not a national database, not a national app for all of us to access? Let me give you a good example. I run Axios. We have about 500 people. Like, right now, we're actively hiring what we now call AI enablement specialists, people who are really smart, often very young, very savvy with AI, that could embed with any division and figure out where could AI be a force multiplier. Well, you don't go to school for that. It's brand new. It didn't even exist 6 months ago. And so we're scrambling to find those people. Those people exist, people who just have a natural propensity for being really good at being structured in their thinking, kind of think in systems. And it turns out that they can take that skill and they can do something that literally did not exist 6 months ago. Step 5 is we've got to do a better job preparing business, colleges, and families. Right? None of them are prepared for artificial intelligence. These AI companies know exactly in real time how we're using these technologies for good and bad and ugly. So it'd be very easy to create a curriculum that goes all the way to the family level, just to give people the tools to utilize it in both like a proficient way, but also a responsible way. There are bad things that you can do with these technologies. Every technology that comes along, people use it for bad things. They use it for good things. And to me, we just have to be honest about both of those, make sure that we're educating parents, make sure that we're teaching our kids kind of the proper way to think about the technology and use the technology. And if you do those things, you give yourself a much better chance of getting this right. Like, just being angry or just being clueless is not a solution. Step 6 is we've got to take the future dangers seriously. Some of them are scary. Hopefully, many of them will never materialize. But there are a lot of things that the people who are building these technologies legitimately fear, not 20 years from now, but 20 months from now. A good example is because of the way that these machines work, their ability to kind of look at our bodies, look at how proteins unfold, look at how cells operate, it's going to be pretty easy for a bad actor to create pathogens or other biological weapons that could do harm to a lot of people. Well, we know that. They know that. They're worried about it. They talk about it all the time. They're trying to guard against it. Well, shouldn't we be having a society-wide conversation about how do we prevent that? How do we make sure that these models don't enable that? If, God forbid, something happens, are we equipped to be able to respond to it? What are the bad outcomes that we want to avoid? How do we avoid them? And if for some reason, God forbid, we're hit with one of those bad outcomes, how do we respond? If you don't plan, we could be screwed. Step 7 is we've got to build a worldwide coalition around American AI rules, and even the supply chain that helps us build artificial intelligence. To me, this is the big lost opportunity of the last 2 years. Most people, most countries want to align with America. Most countries want to do business with America. And we could have, and we still can, be leveraging that to build a coalition potentially bigger than the United nations, potentially way bigger than NATO, that says, listen, if you want to utilize and have access to our models, our ask is that we all kind of use the same safety protocol. We use these technologies in a similarly responsible way. We lock arms and we figure out what are all of the critical minerals and supply components that we need to build artificial intelligence. We work together to make sure that we all have access to those, and that we kind of build our economies and build our technologies together and not with China. China is a legitimate threat when it comes to the AI race, and right now the only threat to American dominance. And so the only solution to that is making sure that we move the vast majority of the world to our side and against China in terms of AI. Listen, I'm not a dope. I understand that any one of these pieces would be difficult to do individually. To do all 7 might sound insane. But I'm telling you right now, the status quo is way more insane than trying to take on 1, 2, 3, or 7 of these steps. If we don't do it, China's going to beat us in the AI war, or the big beneficiaries, and maybe the only beneficiaries of AI, will be the wealthy getting wealthier and the powerful getting more powerful, and the rest of us, the rest of you, not benefiting from it when we could have benefited from it had we gotten ahead of it. And if we don't do that, shame on us.